So I don't think anyone can say that they tried it and it didn't work. I tried it and it didn't work because I think that if you try doing the things Jesus said, you realize how it builds. And I mean, it does work. If you try loving your enemies, then you start loving your enemies and you realize a lot of those fruits. And it's not like you would want to go back on that because there's really good fruit there. So when someone says they tried it and it didn't work, I don't know if it's just I tried all the outward stuff. I tried, I was moving up in the church. I was going through all the motions. I was doing the visiting teaching and I was having my calling and I was doing all this stuff, but maybe you were unable to do the basic stuff, love first, because there were so many things to be doing outwardly. You had to so strongly avoid the appearance of sin that you started equating appearance with the real thing. If we avoid the appearance of sin, we're going to do the one set of earrings, we're going to wear our skirts at our knees, we're going to never reveal our shoulders, and we're going to carry around our scriptures, and we're going to read them every day as well, because if we read them, we can report that we read them, and it's just something we do. If we just read them every day, we're just kind of doing it. We're going through the motions. It's very surfacey. And we start building our foundation of our life on that. And that's, I think, it can lead to good things. I've seen people get benefits. I've got benefits from doing that stuff. So it's not like it's all or nothing. It's not that black and white usually. But there are the people who have gone through and done all the steps and still missed it. The Pharisees, doing all this stuff and missing the point. Maybe no fault of their own. Maybe that's what they were taught. And maybe giving Christ a chance, real Jesus, letting go of all that stuff and giving love a chance. You likely are doing it anyway because love was part of it too. But maybe not realizing that love is the whole thing. It's kind of what ruined it for you, kind of tainted it. Because it probably was too much to be seen of men. And not realizing it was to be seen of men. Too many men saying, do this to be pleasing unto me. And not enough of us stepping back and saying, but what is pleasing unto thee, God? What do you want me to be doing with my time? What would make the most sense for me to be doing right now? Given the situation, you know the whole thing. Well, what should I be doing with my time? What am I really pondering? What kind of deep mysteries could I really ask about? What is the modesty thing? To ponder what it actually means. What does this mean? Why does it say this? Maybe little things will get revealed. I don't know. Marriage as a transaction was kind of one of those for me, got revealed of why, because I don't feel like my chastity status really affects my feelings of connection with other people. So that's what kind of made me question, is the law of chastity about connection? Oh, because it builds trust. I think the only reason it builds trust is because that was an agreed upon thing you did. You agreed you were going to be doing the monogamy. And so when you do monogamy, that's trust building. Whatever you agreed with, and then you're doing that thing you agreed on doing, that's trust building. Whenever those things are broken, it's trust breaking, right? Whenever those things are not done, It's like the agreement was broken. It's trust breaking. So monogamy in and of itself may not be trust breaking or trust building. Just the agreement is. Okay. But marriage as a transaction, so marriage in our culture, we hyper focus on the attachment because we love that stuff. But marriage is another part of it too, a transactional part. It's like, okay, we're going to be raising smaller versions of adults, and we need to do doing that in the best possible way that we can possibly understand. We can try our best. Here's what we're going to agree. Here's what we both think is really good for these new ones. And if, for a safety net for these new ones, if that contract should break, if we decide we're no longer involved with each other, still we have a responsibility for these other ones. And so we're going to make sure their lives are their environment is much like a nest as possible. It's as much like a safe, secure, and stable, calm place as possible. Not a lot of disruptions. It's just kind of a happy, relaxed, peaceful experience. So to foster a likely good outcome for the adult who will emerge from the nest as they jump off and see if they can fly. Most of them do, and some of them don't, and most of them do though. So you just trust them. And if they don't, it's just how it went. But we do have that connection in part of our society. Is that based on luxury? Do we just have so much luxury that we can afford to just be like all about connection? And it's hardly about transaction at all anymore because everyone can just kind of get by. Like, there's so much social safety nets in place. I could literally walk outside. Well, I could walk outside naked, even in the winter. I am confident I could walk outside naked in the winter and survive. There's just so much waste, so much leftover, so much decadence. It's just, I don't know. It's easy. So we don't see marriage as a transaction. But marriage still has a bit of transaction because there is a bit of disruption if it ends and everybody just has to kind of figure out what they're doing now. It's a bit of a disruption. So we do have to treat it a little bit like a transaction because kids. And so then if you want to say monogamy is part of the transaction, I could get behind that because if your marriage transaction was monogamy, well, that was an agreement you made, an expectation, and it's a hygiene expectation. And so you could make a case for that. And I think that would be valid. I think that's a really good reason to do it. And I think if you both have a reason for it and you want that, and that's an agreement made, even if it's an agreement made because you believe it's not hygienic but actually attachment based, then it's still like trust building if you continue with your agreement. So I believe it is connection building and attachment building in that sense. But I do think understanding purity culture in light of it being a hygienic issue more than an attachment issue is a healthier way to view life. I think it helps to understand monogamy as an extremely valid and good reason, scientifically, hygienically, but also not putting so much pressure on, I feel like, women to be pure as a way to avoid being mentally and spiritually damaged. I feel like that sucks to grow up in that. And by their fruits you shall know them. We can kind of see the fruits of all the people who are growing up in that understanding and idea. And I think it's a bit not, it doesn't help people feel better about growing, and I feel like people are kind of stagnating in it. I feel like this is not a place that, I don't know. I mean, we've tried it a long time. We need to try a new thing, and maybe the old way of understanding it as a hygiene issue, maybe that would be a little better. I don't know.